Good morning, everyone. This is Curtis Hawks with Insurance Agency Marketing Services, and I want to thank you very much for being on the call today. We've got a very exciting topic. As we all know, the current year with COVID has really impacted a lot of people, and one of the things that we're seeing out there is the use and the ability to leverage technology to help in your sales process. And so we've got a really good presentation today to talk about one of the resources that we have available or that you have access to through IMES and how technology can make a positive impact on the life insurance process, from quoting to applications and everything in between. Before we get into that, though, I did want to take a couple of minutes and talk about some of the additional ways that IMES can make a very positive impact in your business. So first off is our new producer builders. And for those of you that are new to IMES or looking at IMES and looking at possibly joining, one of the things that we realize and that we're cognizant of is every advisor is unique. They're at different stages of their career. They've got different target markets. They've got different goals. They're in different areas of the country. And so one of the things that we want to do with the new producer is we really want to help accelerate your business. And really our goal is to meet you where you're at and help you to get to where you want to be. And so one of the ways that we do that is through our new producer builder program. And as you can see up here, we've got a number of options. And essentially what this is as you start producing business with us, we will partner with you in a variety of different ways to help you market your business. And whether that's marketing or prospecting, or, again, there's options in here for just straight cash. We've got a number of options depending on where you're at. And I always get a lot of questions on this, and I want to make this point as well. If you're doing something that's working well in your business and you just want to figure out a way that IMES can help partner with you even further on that, give us a call. One of the core themes about who we are is customization of services and getting the advisor exactly what it is that they need. Next are IMES Business Builders. And the first program I want to talk about is our Referred Producer Program. And this is where some of the biggest checks we cut come from. So if you're currently working with IMES and you're happy with our service and you like what we're doing, this is a great way for you to go out, and if you've got a colleague or somebody that maybe isn't happy where they're at, send them our way. Not only will you get a cash bonus when they get contracted, as well as an additional cash bonus when they place their first piece of business with us, but on an ongoing basis, you'll continue to get checks on a quarterly basis. You don't have to do anything. We'll provide all the service. We'll take care of that agent, but we'll get those checks out to you as well on their production. In addition to this, we have our marketing reimbursement program. This is, again, another great opportunity, whether it's annuity or life insurance business, to have IMES partner with you and really double the size of your marketing budget. And that's one of the things that we've seen over the course of this year as well, is in navigating the challenges with prospecting and marketing. It's not just about getting more creative, but for a lot of advisors, I think they're seeing that they've got to spend a little bit more to get their name out there and generate that prospect flow. And so these can be really, truly meaningful dollars going back into your company to help build your brand and get out there. Back office support. Every company out there says they've got good back office support. I would tell you we've got some of the best as well. But I really think this year has put a highlight on back office support, as we've seen over the course of this year with social distancing, with companies shutting down, with employees working remote. It has gotten more and more challenging to get business pushed through in a timely manner through the insurance companies. And so having a dedicated team over here at IMES that's on the phone each and every day, pushing and pushing and pushing, making sure that your business gets through in a timely manner is critically important. In addition to that, making sure that you're getting good service from a design standpoint, from an illustration standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, all of those things. Implementation is critical this year, and having the right team of people around you to help grow your business makes things much easier. Speaking of marketing, with our creative marketing solutions, and I really think creative is the key there. One of the general trends that we've seen is that some of the things that agents and advisors did marketing-wise pre-COVID don't necessarily have the same results post-COVID. And so we've had to get a lot more creative with how we're reaching out and touching prospects and how we're getting in front of people. And so we've got a great team here that can help you take advantage of opportunities in your local marketplace. And one of the things that I would encourage everybody on the call today to do, if you haven't done this yet, is we actually will do a custom marketing analysis for our advisors. And basically what that entails is we go through and we do a complete analysis. What are your marketing assets? What does your business look like? What is your target market? What are your goals? What do you want to do over what time frame? And then what we'll produce for you is a custom marketing plan that has all the different options, what the expected results are going to be, and what is that right mix of activity to help you accomplish your goals. And so if you haven't taken advantage of that already, reach out to your sales director over here. They can certainly help you with that. And again, we're going into the fourth quarter, so we want to close really, really strong. But we also need to be thinking about what do we want next year to look like. And so this is a great way, a great tool and a great process to accomplish that. Again, the purpose of today is talking about how to leverage technology to make life easier and to generate more sales. To that end, I would encourage everybody, if you're not currently licensed with us, reach out to a sales director, talk to them about getting access to the IMS website. If you are licensed with us and haven't created your login and password, you need to. We've got a number of great tools. Today we've got Andy from IPIPELINE on the call with us today. You can access IPIPELINE very, very easily through our system on the website. In addition to that, we've got a number of sales tools, prospecting tools. You can get access to product rates, everything. Retirement analyzer. So again, I know a lot of advisors out there are doing virtual presentations. And so the need to be able to articulate concepts, ideas, etc., digitally is critically important. And Retirement Analyzer does a very, very efficient job of showing people how to not outlive their income in retirement. And it takes a lot of different concepts that are out there and breaks them into a really simple and straightforward format for consumers to understand. Make sure if you're not currently using this software, request a sample design, reach out to a sales director. You can request a demo in order to get access to the platform. But we found it to be a very, very good tool pre-COVID and an even more impactful tool post-COVID. Lastly, I wanted to mention IMS Wealth Management. As many of you are aware, we do have an RIA platform that we have available. If you've never thought about this, it's a great opportunity to enhance your business. If you have been thinking about it, reach out to Charles and his team. They do a really, really good job. They're very, very focused on taking care of the advisor, making sure they provide a good custom experience. And if you're currently an IAR right now, and maybe you're not quite happy with your current relationship, reach out, give us a call. We're more than happy to talk to you about it and some of the things that we can do to help your business. So with that, what I wanted to go through was iPipeline with Mr. Andy Stengel. He's the director over there. And as I mentioned, software technology, that has been a core theme over the course of this year. And one of the things that we found is that the advisors that are having the most success out there are finding different ways to leverage technology in their business. And whether it's from a prospecting standpoint, whether it's from marketing, whether it's from quoting, their point of sale, et cetera, there's a variety of different ways that can help in the virtual world that we're in. So Andy, we appreciate you being on the call with us today, and I'll hand it over to you.
Great, thank you, Curtis. Can you guys see the PowerPoint slide here, the cover?
Yep.
Okay, great. All right, awesome. Thanks, Curtis, and thanks everyone for having me today. Like Curtis said, iPipeline is a partner of IMS, and we're here to help the digital push in the insurance selling world. So first thing, so I just want to go through the agenda. So we have a lot going on here. So first I'm going to go through an introduction of iPipeline. Then we're going to go over some agent support resources for our tools. And then lastly, I do have some sales engineering folks that will join to give us some demonstrations on the tools that IMS provides to you guys. So who's on the call? My name is Andy Stengel. I'm the account representative for IMS. I'll have Kevin Brown joining and Jeffrey Bennett to provide us with a demonstration. So iPipeline is the leading provider of cloud-based software solutions for the financial services industry. Our customers are over 150 carriers and over 1,400 distributors, and we service over 500,000 agents and licensed advisors. Sorry, there we go. So not only do we create products for how the industry works, but we understand the complexity of distribution of products, whether it be through channels of distribution or direct to carrier agents. We aid 150 carriers to equip agents to sell to millions of consumers. The industry relies on us. Ultimately, the insurance industry relies on iPipeline. There are hundreds of companies globally that use our SaaS model.
Okay. And Andy, I know you guys are going to be taking a deep dive into this, but I know we've had a lot of questions from advisors over the course of the year, and as you can imagine, one of the core themes has been COVID and how that's been impacting the sales process and some of the challenges that's been presenting. From your perspective with iPipeline, what are some of the observations that you guys have made and some of the things that you're doing to help support advisors?
Yeah, absolutely. So selling life insurance is a very people and paper intensive process. With COVID, we've removed that face-to-face, changing the way people interact, which can be uncomfortable for agents. Things that we can typically collect in person now require more mail-intensive methods. Signatures on applications, amendments, illustrations, receiving checks, delivering policies, all of these things have been slowed down and is now requiring to be sent and received in the mail. And the problem here is mail is slow. When delays are created, the consumer has an increased opportunity to change their mind. So as COVID is slowing down this life insurance selling cycle, we need to know, why does this matter? So if you were to ask yourself, if you're a traditional paper user, why would you consider moving to a digital experience? So we understand and acknowledge at iPipeline the facts about paper. Paper doesn't require a power cord or a Wi-Fi connection or everything to be right the first go. You can skip around and you can sign whenever. And when you drop paper, it doesn't break like a laptop or something else would. And so paper offers enormous flexibility when selling. So we ask, why would you move to a digital experience that could restrain your selling? Well, first thing to understand is cycle time. This is the duration it takes for the carrier from the time they receive the app to the time they push it back out the door. Carriers measure cycle time. Why do they do that? Because there's a direct correlation between time and placement. So placement ratio to you, the agent, equals your commissions. So when we're talking about that correlation, speed matters. So what slows down speed? The failure to fill things in properly the first time, mistakes, mailing delays, back and forth between clients. The faster that the carrier can make decisions, the shorter the cycle time, which for you equals more commissions. So how do we know this? So at iPipeline, we took 3 million cases, and on average, it took 55 days for the carrier from the time they received the app from the agent to the time it was sent back out. We found a 5-day period from days 55 to 60 where placement ratio dropped 13%. So those 5 days really mattered. Again, we're talking about that opportunity for someone to, maybe there was a bad news or a washer broke or anything that would sway them away from their original decision. So if last year you made $100,000 in premium, you could have given yourself a potential $13,000 raise by reducing your cycle time with a digital experience.
Okay, very good. Another challenge that, and it's always a challenge with life insurance, right? It goes hand in hand, underwriting. And this year's certainly been different than previous years. As we saw COVID develop, one of the things that we saw, really at the beginning of the second quarter this year is more and more insurance companies coming out with COVID guidelines. So restrictions on if you're, in different age brackets, limiting the amount of underwriting classes that are available to individuals. And then, it seems like we have a lot of the insurance companies that have a little bit more scrutiny on cases. And so one of the things that we found over the course of this year is a greater and greater need for good field underwriting and being able to really get a good, clear sense of where do we think this person's really going to fall? Can we do accelerated underwriting? Can we not? What do we think table rating is if we're going to run into that? And so can you speak a little bit to how iPipeline can assist with the underwriting process?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. And just speaking in underwriting and COVID relations, few things we've noticed as well is basically the inability to send someone to get an APS. Carriers need blood, weight, etc., but they can't get a paramed into a house. Doctors not wanting someone to come into their office to photocopy records. Uh, Carriers are reacting to this in many ways, but one of them is by taking those traditional artifacts that are less likely to obtain. The result being being able to buy more insurance with less underwriting artifacts, raising the level of requirements, something that maybe required 1 million coverage may not be needed now until 2 million coverage. Like you mentioned, accelerating underwriting is taking a shift, and robots performing underwriting through machine learning. So what iPipeline's really trying to understand is when we come out of this, we break through this pandemic era, what's going to stick and what's going to be eliminated. So really, in general, all of this really requires agents to be more creative. There might not be someone for them to call to get quotes in the home office, or like you said, field underwriting. Now, field underwriting pre-COVID also had benefits in the sense that it's helping that cycle time that I spoke about, in the sense that you're applying for the right class the first time around. What we have is our X-ray tool, which we'll be demonstrating later, that really allows you to get those questions answered and a quote and a rating right there instantaneously. So I'll definitely throw that to Kevin once we're ready for the demo piece. But some of the other interesting things about COVID and how it's affected is there's a few topics. One, and you could probably find this if you were searching or curious, is panic buying. The fear of death got a greater awareness, and financial risks associated with mortality have contributed to increased buying of life insurance. Young consumers as well are realizing that the elevated numbers since the spring, because people, once Americans started dying from COVID, everyone kind of got this logical result that, okay, I need life insurance. And then lastly, that term insurance is way up. Most firms are seeing double-digit increases in term policies being sold. And I found an interesting fact that Google search for life insurance jumped 50% between March and May, when COVID really got underway.
Yeah, it's. I would say that's one thing that we've noticed as well. Is we've certainly seen an increase in app count over the course of this year, and we've, our premium has increased too, but we've certainly seen an increase in app count, and we've also seen an increase in term applications as well. And I think part of that is, COVID certainly has a financial impact, and so I think a lot of people that, if they were maybe looking at permanent, maybe they want to get some life insurance coverage, and maybe they go that term route and then evaluate converting in the future. So. Um, Now, with I think a lot of advisors associate iPipeline from a quoting standpoint with term insurance, but could you speak to a little bit about that? Because there's quite a few products available that advisors can quote and illustrate on there.
Yeah, absolutely. So with our LifePipe quoting tool, which is our term and GUL quoting tool, you can select multiple health classes, multiple death benefits, and select carriers and different terms and compare them all side by side. This is available on both your phone, like I'm showing on the screen now, or from your laptop. Basically, then you can extract these, hand them to your customer for them to review, or take them back and you know, jump into an e-application once that quote is confirmed and agreed upon.
Okay. And then I know one question we get sometimes is, so you can do multiple quotes on one spreadsheet, correct? What's the max as far as the combination that you can run on there?
Yeah, you can run, and Kevin will show us this in action, but basically you can run side by side as many quotes as you need. It, you know, it's on one page you can, I'm not sure exactly how many you can fit, at least 10, but you can print those out, you can extract them, you can send them an email, and you can also do, you know, your 10 and your 20 and your 30-year term all right side by side as well to see that year, you know, that premium choice difference.
Okay. And with the quoting platform, you know, people can do e-applications, they can do illustrations on the platform, but I believe you can go on and do an e-application straight from the illustration platform, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. So if you can see on my screen, there's a blue apply button next to each one of these. Now, depending on what the carrier has subscribed to through iPipeline, it's going to give you those options in the apply button. So most of them you can jump right into an e-application, a drop ticket, or some of them have the paper form option if that's the way the application needs to be handled. Um, Not only can you quote within that tool, but you can also get the entire forms library. Any additional amendments are also available. And then also the content of the underwriting guidelines, the build charts for every product. iPipeline is the largest partnership with the carriers and the forms library in the industry.
And that's you know, that's another thing that I've noticed as well over the last few years too, Andy, is you'll log into the insurance carrier website sometimes, and it's iPipeline forms that are what you pull your applications from with the carriers. So they're not even administering that on their own. They're actually leveraging you guys, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have content partnerships with over 80 carriers. And what that means for us is as things change, especially right now, we get those updates immediately. Like you said, some carriers use us as their, you know, front end system. So as soon as we get in, as soon as they change something, we get it within, you know, seconds of that update. It's registered and pushed out to the production area where people can see these guidelines, forms, whatever it might be.
Okay. And then as far as, you know, we talked a little bit about different underwriting guidelines that have kind of been changing month to month with different carriers. It seems like there's a kind of just an ever evolving deal going on. How quickly do you guys update your underwriting guides as those changes come out?
Immediately. As soon as they come out, we have a partnerships and contracts with the carriers to make sure that we get the guidelines immediately. And as soon as they're enforced with them, they're enforced with us.
Okay. And then, so like right now we're on one of the product highlight sheets. If an advisor is wants to get access to that, I believe they can do that right through the quoting software, right? They could just click the link of the carrier, or maybe if you go back, yeah, like where would they go if they wanted to see the product details or get into the underwriting guides right then and there?
This screenshot actually doesn't show that because we're actually in a quote here, like showing results.
Hmm.
Now, what could happen is now if I clicked on this nationwide one at the top here, that
Hmm.
drop down apply button will have paper forms, a button to go right into paper forms for that. And
Hmm.
within the forms library is where you can get the product guidelines and underwriting guidelines. Uh, Kevin will show that on the demo as far as navigation.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I just have screenshots here, but you know, it all has the same look and feel. You'll know when you're on iPipeline software, um, and that forms button is right at the top. We'll show that on the demo portion.
Okay. Um, so when you look forward into next year, obviously, you know, we're kind of plodding along into this new normal. Can you give us some insight into maybe some of the additional things that iPipeline is looking at as we go into next year, as far as innovation?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're, you know, we're really trying to understand what the effect COVID has on the industry. We've been pushing, you know, to get people away from a paper experience and more towards the electronic experience for years. But now with COVID, we're seeing that it's sort of being forced, and people are starting to be more accepting of the digital experience. So we're taking that in consideration, and really we're trying to educate and inform agents and back office staff on what the benefits are and really how to increase that cycle time, right? Because it all comes down to cycle time, which and placement ratio, right? If the cycle time's high, the placement ratio is lower. So everything we do is around that kind of that speed aspect of reducing days in the cycle time, and that's where a lot of these products really originated from. Now, another big piece of what we're looking to as a company is underwriting. Like you said, there's definitely some changes going on, and we need to be, as the industry leader in the software, we need to be ahead of the game and be ready to, implement and distribute things to agents and agencies as soon as carriers make shifts. So iPipeline has a very good pulse. We're constantly talking to the industry leaders, carriers, agencies to really figure out how this is affecting people and what we can do. We're always trying to innovate new products to help with the processes, especially the pain point ones, and especially around getting signatures, knowing that, mail and face-to-face is not as effective as it needs to be.
Yeah. Now you guys work with a significant number of insurance companies. Do you have a sense of how many carriers you guys add on an annual basis to the platform, or what does that quite look like?
Yeah, we're constantly adding and implementing new carriers onto the quoting tool, the e-application. As new products come out from carriers, we're adding that to our e-app so that it's available and growing that. Um, I think we've signed, with COVID even, we've signed, I think, 5 or plus more carriers this year already. And that's only continuing to grow from there. Especially COVID, in a sense, has pushed that even further because more carriers want their application available online in an
Yeah,
e-app.
yeah. Now with the going back to the quoting aspect of it, you guys can quote term and GUL. On the GULs, do you have to just run a standard, guarantee out to 120, or can you speak a little bit the flexibility within the design platform for GULs?
I'm going to save that portion for the demonstration because everything that we have at iPipeline is intuitive. When depending on an option or a product that you select, the results on the screen are going to change. So if you don't
Hmm.
mind, Curtis, I'll leave that one so when we're actually going through the demo, you can see when he selects GUL, the screens and the corresponding fields are all geared to the GUL product. Same thing with term. Your options are only going to be based on a term product.
Okay. All right. Um, so we've talked a little bit about the quoting. We've talked a little bit about the e-application. Um, does iPipeline integrate, or how do they integrate on the back end with maybe policy delivery, those types of things?
Yeah, so we do have a policy delivery app as well. You can see a screenshot of it here. E-delivery has had a huge impact this year as far as adoption increases and carrier participation. So e-delivery right now, because getting those signatures and face-to-face and mail are so can be such catalysts. We do have an e-delivery system called DOCFAST. That again, we can definitely show this, but it really helps track the workflow. You can see a bunch of different statuses for all these different customers on the screen here. If it's been received by the agent, sent to the customer, what the carrier is, when the last activity was, so to really help track this delivery as things can get, a lot of moving parts are going.
Okay. All right. And I think we've certainly seen a significant interest in in that type of a platform as you have, basically it varies from state to state. Different states are at different stages of being able to get out there. I know we had some states earlier in the year where you couldn't even run face-to-face appointments. And so the ability to do everything digitally and, address all aspects of the sale, I think has been a critically important component for a lot of advisors throughout the country. So now I see you've got a tablet there. You've got the phone up there. Do you guys have an app with iPipeline, or is it all straight web-based?
No, we don't have an application. Everything is web-based. Everything is
Okay.
accessible from your phone, laptop, or tablet. Um,
Okay.
but no application. But that doesn't mean you can't access it on these different devices.
Okay. Is that something you guys are looking into in the future? That's on the docket?
Not particularly. I don't think iPipeline wanted to kind of go that direction for specific reasons, which I'm not 100% sure on all of them, but we didn't want to become an application company. We are web-based, and our services, since they are available already on these devices, we didn't see the need for an application. And I believe some of our competitors who have done that route have, not had the best experience with that. So something we kind of look to the industry, what people have done, and have chosen to stick with the web-based approach.
Okay. So I know
Hey,
I've asked.
Andy, Kevin Brown's joined.
Hey, Kevin. Great.
Sorry I'm late. I'm having network connectivity issues. I'm not able to get on to the webinar. I'm calling in from my phone. I'm trying to diagnose what's going on in my house, but I may need you to do the iSolve demo.
Okay. No problem.
Sorry
All
to
right.
interrupt. I'll let you
That's no,
finish
no.
your
Thanks for letting us
train
know
of
you're
thought.
here. All right. Well, Curtis, if you want to finish up with any other questions, and then we can see if Kevin gets any better luck with the connection. If not, we can kind of switch gears here.
Yeah, no, I mean, the bulk of the questions that I had, and I was just about to, ask you if there was anything that I maybe should have asked that I haven't at this point. Because again, like I said, I know we've got a lot of advisors that have tinkered around with iPipeline or maybe looking at it, and so I want to make sure we're kind of covering everything, so people are getting a good sense of how they can really leverage this tool.
Yeah, absolutely. So the only thing I didn't show were actually two things. The Resonant Field Underwriting Tool is also part of the package that IMS has. Again, to really make sure that we're getting the right health class done the first time. The quoting tool itself, which I'm just going to jump back to that screen, has a field underwriting built into it, and it's basically built off of the 80-20 rule, where 80% of cases are going to be able to use the version that's built into the quoting tool, and then for the 20% of cases that are a little more specific or have something outstanding or out of the ordinary, you can use the field underwriting tool from Resonant here to make sure you get that right rate class. And then, of course, we mentioned the e-application for e-signature and e-submitting that you can jump into from the quoting tool as well.
Okay, good.
So as you mentioned, we also have iSolve. iSolve is our permanent quote and benchmarking tool. So here you can see an extract of quotes side by side for, this is just a sample brokerage agency. But basically, this is our tool to get these quotes for whole life and IUL products as well, and to benchmark them. And then lastly, before we get into the demo, and I'll distribute this PowerPoint so you guys have this slide. This is all the agent support information for iPipeline. We have a full support team that supports all of our products, open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. We also have a customer portal, which has a lot of information on it that you could probably get immediately by simply doing a quick search. And then we have a support email as well for any other issues. All right, so on that note, I believe we can switch gears here into the demonstration portion so I can actually show some of the products that are shown on the slides here. Curtis, can I take my screen down quick to get set up and then put it back up?
Yeah, hold on a second here. Let me, yeah, there you go. So,
Okay. All righty, give me 1 minute here.
so yeah, I mean, we're running, we look at it, I mean, we run a significant number of quotes through iPipeline. I mean, it really has saved us a lot of time. As you can imagine, the sales directors over here, we work a lot of cases on a daily basis. And so the ability to, instead of having to run every single carrier manually, have a notepad, jot down the premiums, all of those types of things, it really makes it a lot easier to just get the exact ranking of all of the carriers, the premium on whatever premium mode that you want, and figure out what the best ones are. The other thing too, from an underwriting standpoint, is we are seeing different things with some carriers, getting more conservative underwriting, or you see carriers that maybe are a little bit slower. So you can really get a good sense of where does everybody rank out in order of price. And then also, if there's carriers that we want to avoid because we know it's going to be a long turnaround time, or if, again, we use the X-ray tool quite a bit. If we know somebody's, borderline on as far as a rate class, it is a very, very effective tool to really get a good, concise sense of where do we think this is going to be. And that's kind of the neat thing about iPipeline is because they have so many carrier relationships. I mean, they're taking direct feeds in from the carrier underwriting guidelines. So, so in any case, sorry, not to jump in there too much, Andy. I'll let you take it from there.
Oh, I was on mute there. All right, can you guys see my screen again?
Yep.
All right, I'm just showing brokerage agency. So this is a sample website that iPipeline has to kind of show what we envision a website could look like. But basically, the way this works is, and every agency is a little differently, works a little differently, of course. But basically, on this site, we have buttons that pop you into the different tools. Like I said, here's our forms button that would bring you to this screen here, which might look familiar, where you can select your carrier, select the type, location, state, product type, and get whatever you need here, do search. And from here you can either get the paper forms or you can actually jump into an e-app as well if you realize you want to go that route. The quoting tool has excuse me, oops. Yeah, so here's the quoting tool here. This is where you fill in your light information on your customer, state they're in, and from here, this is where you guys will be able to select which product you want to quote. On here, you'll see I have term with simplified issue, and GUL, and then the benchmark products are the permanent quoting products that we offer on here as well. So depending on what you select, for here I'll do term. Actually, we were interested in GUL. So here you can select what to age you want to go to. The death benefit amount, I can enter in more than one. So we'll check out those three. And any riders I want. I'm going to leave riders off for this. And then here's the, when I was talking about the field underwriting tool, here's where that 80% of cases come into play. So I'll show you what that looks like. Now you have two options here to determine a health class. You can either, select your height and weight and add those details, and then go into a, so let me just fill these in here. And I can click add health details. And what it's going to do is allow me to choose which options I want to see here. So for this, I'll select all three, and it's going to tell you what's under those. So for health conditions, we have blood pressure, build, cholesterol, and tobacco use. Not everything, but again, this is the 80-20 rule where we're collecting 80% of cases should be able to get a case, a health class through this. So if I fill in all the information, I'm just going to kind of skip through here just so you can see what the different screens look like. And then from here, I can go right to getting quotes. And what it's going to do is it's going to look at the carrier's underwriting guidelines and select a health class based on the results I plugged in. Now, I didn't put that many in, and it's going to tell us right here that some carriers were excluded because they didn't provide the health class details, right? So we don't want anyone to apply for something that they wouldn't be underwritten for anyways. So now I'm into that screen that looked a lot like the screenshot you showed, where I have my apply button. I'm seeing a bunch of different carriers. Right now, I'm just starting off of what premium is the least. And it's telling me what these health classes are, given the product and given the carrier. Now, from here, I can select a few different things. If I wanted to see the different death benefits that I selected, here's my pricing at 150, 250, and then the 500. And then I could also add, I didn't on the original selection, but I do have this navigation bar on the left. So I could add in, I only did to age 100, but now if I add in a 105, it's going to recalculate those results and then show me what the differences are there. I also have the ability to select carriers. Maybe there's a preferred carrier or someone that you're looking for and you don't see. You can add and select carriers based on the results given. And then I can also change, any riders, underwriting processes, or flat extras. Maybe I only wanted to see what the accelerated product would be, and that would be these options here. So let me get my full list back here. So from this screen, I have a few options here. I can download these results and I can put them in a list report. I believe we wanted to see an example of that. So we'll get a list report here to show you what that looks like. And again, this is grayed out because it's going to show we'll show the IMS logo up here. So that's nice for your customers. And then basically showing you all the results. Now I selected 2 age 100 for 150, 250, and 500. So it's showing all those results. I can, narrow this down so I don't have so many pages, but I have a nice PDF that I can email, I can export, can hand that off to someone. Or if I know what I want to do, I can hit apply, and then here's my options here. I can jump right into an e-application. This one looks like it's eligible for a drop ticket, or I can go right to my paper forms. Now, depending on what my option is, it's going to redirect me. I'm already logged in as the agent, so it knows, I'm going to hit start e-application, and now we're going into IGO. From here, now this is a test environment, so it doesn't have my information stored, but let me just log in here now. And again, this would say IMS, not brokerage agency. And then it's going to pre-fill the case information that I selected based on the quote I picked. So it's pulling up that principal app now. It knows which one I want, and it's going to give me that right here to select. I already have my date of birth, age, and gender already filled in on the previous screen, what state I was in, and what the product type was. I'm going to select that product to verify that's the one, and it's going to jump me right into the application screen. So again, this is an intuitive product. So depending on answers, different screen options will show up. If I select that there's more than one beneficiary or something more, another screen would pop up, that sort of thing. And like your paper app, I can jump around. If we wanted to jump into medical questions, but the screen will not be considered in good order, which is what IGO stands for, until I have selected the right answers or filled in the required answers, I should say. Everything marked in yellow is what's required, so it's clear and obvious what needs to be filled in. For sake of this, I'll just fill these all in as no. And once I hit next, which it will allow me to, I get my green checkbox. So as I'm going through this, I know if I'm in good order. I know that when I hit my validation and lock screen, I filled in everything, all the questions are answered, and I can go and process to my signature screens. Also here, you can view the forms at any time, and you can save the application and jump back later, right? Because like paper, if you don't have an answer right away, you might need to save it and jump back into that case. And at any time, I can get my forms with my information I filled in already on here and could print it out if I need to go that direction. In IGO, you will have a list of all your cases that are either in flight or have been submitted. So you can see I just have a whole list of started cases, but if I had some that I had actually completed in this environment, I would see my completed cases as well, and I could go back into those details or see the forms, or I can open, transfer, and delete the case as well. So that's kind of showing the process for jumping into an e-application. That's what, you know, the iPipeline ecosystem's all about, you know, going from quote to apply and then submitting for the carrier so that the process and that cycle time can be as short and as efficient as possible. Because again, cycle time is directly correlated to placement ratio, and placement ratio equals commissions. So shorter the cycle time, higher the placement ratio, more commissions. To show an example of the forms process as well, we've kind of seen this, but it does generate the yellow necessary forms, and then any additional forms that might be needed are also available here. You can click and select which packages you need and then download that full package to be printed or emailed. So that's the IGO, I'm sorry, that's the term and GUL quoting version. Within the same tool, and I'm just going to back out here to this screen, which is, you know, our insurance quote screen. I'm going to go and I'm actually going to select one of these products with benchmark on them. Let's do an index universal life accumulation product. As you can see, all my screens just changed because now I'm into iSolve, which is the permanent quote engine. And now I'm going to select my options that apply to this. So I'm going to do a fixed, I'm going to do pay to 10. My illustration rate is going to be 6. And again, all this stuff can be edited on the next screen if anything changes. And we're going to say they can pay $10,000 annually. Again, I can select my health class, or I can use the field underwriting tool. In this case, I'm just going to select 2 health classes here and get the quotes. And now you'll see, now this is the iSolve version. It looks very similar, but you know, now it's all geared around the iSolve products, the permanent products. So it's giving me all the relevant information, what the target is. And just like on the term and GUL version, I have the ability to, let me select some here. Let's select the top 5. And I can either hit compare on these 5. I could download them directly. So I have 2 options there. If I hit compare, I can just see it on this screen. It's a little cleaner. Or I can download, share, or save right from here as well. And again, just like you know, when you're in the term, there's the actions drop down to show you what your options are. So for this particular John Hancock accumulation IUL product, we can start our e-app, we can get our forms, or we can remove it. Right now, North American is the only carrier right now that offers the ability to actually run the illustration from in the software. That is something we're working on, growing this product to add more and more illustration, running illustration capabilities. But for right now, it's just North American. So the benefit of this tool then is really, again, our benchmarking, right? So we're allowing you to see all the different pricing and options. Again, I can select as many different annual fixed premiums as I want. Now, as I change it, now I can just rerun it and see my 15,000 options, compare those prices. And then if I'm not able to run the illustration from here, I can go right to John Hancock. I know exactly what I'm looking for, run that illustration, get it signed, and continue on. All right. So I know that was, I know the quoting and the e-app were the majority of the what people wanted to see. We have 10 minutes left. I just wanted to see, Curtis, is there any direction you wanted me to head with the last 10 minutes, or?
Well, I think the biggest thing is we wanted to accomplish on today's call is, again, you have a lot of advisors that I think are looking to be able to, if they want to run quotes on the fly, if they're wanting to do e-applications, we really wanted to kind of take a deep dive into what that all looks like. And then, of course, we spent quite a bit of time talking about underwriting today as well, because that obviously has been a bigger and bigger component of this over the course of this year. And you know, where somebody falls.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we definitely want to highlight the use of the field underwriting that's built right in to the tool. Let me drop my screen quickly so I can log into X-Ray, which is that other 20% of the underwriting situations that we want you guys to be able to solve for here. So let me just sign in there, and I'll bring my screen back up.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing because, I mean, especially with COVID, I mean, one of the things they're looking for are people that have a health condition or a combination of health conditions that, or anything from an autoimmune standpoint. And so, you know, the nice thing about this is if you've got a height weight deal, if you've got, you know, cholesterol, blood pressure, et cetera, those are things that are oftentimes pretty straightforward to navigate. It's when you maybe have a combination of things, or you've got, you know, a cancer history or diabetes or those types of categories, that it gets a little bit more challenging to figure out where do we really quite think they're going to fall.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I would also mention to everybody as well too, the underwriting tools are really, really good. We utilize them as well. I would also encourage you to, if you do have a challenging case, the X-ray tool is a really effective way to really get a good sense. But if we really want to pinpoint something like with an underwriter, the sales directors here over at IMES, you can give us a call. We can run through X-ray, take a look at it, see what the sense is, and then we can also call the underwriter and talk to them about the case as well. So if we're wanting to get, and then we can also do pre-screens as well. So if we're wanting to get a sense of where it's going to fall underwriting wise, then we also, before we submit it, want to get a response from the carrier telling us, you know, here's where we think we would do that. So we've got that with the application. That's another thing that we can do as well to help support your business.
All right, I'm bringing up my screen now. Just confirm you can see that again.
Yep.
Should see X-ray up here in the top left.
Yep.
All right, great. So, you know, from it's like our other products, you can always see your case list. You know what the client was, and when the X-ray results were created. In this case, I do want to create a new case. And here, basically, I just need to fill in, you know, the standard information, the required information. That product type, we'll do a term, and we'll do a 500,000. All right, so at any point you can search the underwriting. In this case, we do want to continue on to the actual questionnaire so we can get some more information. So here I'm going to fill in the client's information here. Go to our next section. So just like our eApp experience, you know, we're getting to intuitive questions and answers, right? So if I select if I've ever used a tobacco product, all these results are going to come up. If I select no, they're not going to show up because they're not relevant. In this case, I'm going to say yes. Will they test negative? No. Yes. Are they currently smoking? Yes. How many have they smoked per day? We'll say 5. The rest will leave as no, and then we'll continue on. Again, you know, every time I hit yes, typically something else will generate to get more detail and dive into those. So here we're going to say father was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 65, and he did not die. We'll say it was colon, and then we'll answer no to the rest. No to the rest of these. So I'm just kind of walking through the ease and the experience that you would have going through this. We'll go here, driver taken. Don't know what the cholesterol will be, so we'll move to the next section. Here I can actually add in the driving violations and what day, what it was, and kind of get a record of, you know, how that's going to affect my underwriting. There's avocations here. Say no. Medical conditions. We'll say asthma. Next section. And then it's going to ask, because I selected asthma, it's going to ask when I was diagnosed. So it's mild, no, no, 0, no, summary. All right, so now I've filled in all the detailed questionnaire. It's giving me my summary here to confirm. And now I can search my underwriting. Giving it a chance here to run against our quote engine here, run against the X-ray engine here, getting our results back. And then, Kevin, are you still on?
I think he might have dropped off.
Did he? Okay. I wanted to bring up the messaging option here. He'd probably do a better job than explaining it than I could, but there is, so for some of those tricky cases, we do have the ability for you to reach out directly to the carrier's underwriting to kind of get questions and answers back right from the tool here. So this is a UAT test environment here, so this is a little bit slower than normal, but it is working. I'll just let that run for a second here.
Well, and I know we're coming up here on the end of the hour, so let's see if this pulls up, but we do want to, oh, there we go.
All right. So basically it's going to tell you based on our results here, I'm not sure if this is causing any there, but basically it's telling me what's available, what's not, and I can get direct access to the underwriting guides. I guess based on what I filled in, it didn't like my health class choices here, but again, I can go right in. Oh, I'm sorry there. I think this is, it's showing me no results because of the fact that it's a test environment here. So I do apologize. It's going to probably kick me out now.
Well, that's where I'd mention everybody too. If you've got questions on this, give your life sales director a call over here. We're here to help you. We use this software every day. And certainly we're here as a resource for you.
Absolutely, yeah. And the goal of this is to get these tools in the agent's hands, right? So, try it out, give it a call, and if you have any issues, you can reach out to IMES, or iPipeline support staff is also available. I'll make sure that Curtis gets the information here in case of any issues. But yeah, this wouldn't happen in production. I apologize. This is
well, and yeah, that's what I was going to say is we use this software a lot every single day. So I know it's with the test deal. So in any case, I know we're coming up on the hour. So as I mentioned, if you've got questions on this, if you'd like to get access to it, is on our website. Your life sales director team over here at IMES can help you with it. Just give us a call. Phone number is 800-255-5055. And I appreciate everybody taking the time to be on the call with us today.
Thanks a lot, Curtis.